Hey there, I'm Hillary Johnson, the founder and CEO of Hatch Tribe, and I am here to give you a brief tutorial on how to use this business goal setting template. Now, I'll say out the gate, having goals for your business is very important. And the reason why is because it's directing energy. You have time, energy, money, and other resources that you decide every single day how you're going to use. In the absence of business goals, what tends to happen is we get very busy chasing down things, lots of things that masquerade as being very important and urgent. It's often things that are inside of your email inbox or your phone ringing or something on social media that's a distraction, oftentimes a distraction from the bigger picture, from where you're really trying to go and what you're really trying to achieve. So goal setting becomes a way of saying, what's important to me? Where are we trying to go? And then we harness all of the resources we have available to achieve that particular goal. So the process that you're about to embark upon is very important. There are no, and I mean zero very successful big businesses that don't have goals. They simply can't. And that does not mean that if you're a small business, you can necessarily get away with it. You can, but why would you choose to? This is not a complicated process. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or unclear about the direction to go or uncertain about a decision to make, it is almost always because you lack the goals and you lack clarity around your vision and what you're trying to achieve. So all that to say, I want to teach you how to do this and how to do it in a really easy way. And that's exactly what this is designed to help you do. So I want to start on the tab that we're on. And this is the timeline. And it's essentially telling you what to do and when. So you will see on this the lineup for the entire year, broken up by quarter and then by month. And for each month, I'm telling you exactly what you need to work on. In the case of January, and we'll just start there, you're going to set annual goals, quarterly goals, and monthly goals. And that's what it says set, set, set. And the difference here would be like in April, you'll notice it says refresh, specifically is related to your annual goals. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But as you're working on these, you have the ability to track your progress here. And I encourage you to do that. You can choose in progress, you can choose complete, or you can choose incomplete. And these are just very good visual indicators, a quick snapshot of where you are at that moment in time. And if you want to just delete any of that, you can just hover your mouse over it and hit delete, and those little formulas will stay in there. Now, to get to these worksheets, so let's just say you're in January and you need to set annual goals. Of course, do that first. We're just going to click on this and you can go here and it's going to click to this next tab here. Now, if we go back and let's say I wanted to work on Q4, I can click on that here and it comes to this tab here. You can always access them at the bottom of the screen, but it's also easy to just click from these hyperlinks in the worksheet. Okay, all that to say, no matter when you're watching this, I want you to know it's okay. It's okay if we're in September and you didn't set annual goals. Set them now. Set them for the rest of the year as you know it. If we're in Q2 and it's the month of May and you're like, I didn't set Q2 goals yet, that's cool. Set them for Q2 based on what you know right now. Monthlies can be done, of course, at any time. Okay, so let's talk about annual goals because no matter where you are in your year, I want you to have them. Now, first things first, you're going to see financial goals on every one of these worksheets. And that is because you're running a business. Businesses have financial goals, and that is almost always the first metric that we measure because it's not a hobby. You know, you're here to generate an income to allow you to pay yourself and to do some good with the money you have, whether it's for you or for others, including employees. So we will always start with financial goals. And where we're working on the annual worksheet is first in this initial forecast. This is saying, what did you do last year, 2022? Set your baseline. What were your sales? What were your expenses? And what was the profit, meaning the difference of those two numbers? Then I want you to know what your target is for the entire year for 2023. Now, once I start to type in these numbers, let's just say I did 100,000, let's add a zero, $100,000 in sales in 2022, but let's just say my goal is 150,000 in 2023. These numbers are going to calculate automatically. And as I'm here, I realize that I need to replace that formula. Let me fix it. Okay, these will calculate for you automatically. So all that to say, then it's also going to calculate the percent change here. So it's going to tell you in this case, if I go from 100,000 in 2022 to 150 in 2023, that's a $50,000 change, and that's a 50% change. It's going to do the same thing for your expenses and your profit as you type those numbers in. Now you'll also see these numbers are starting to get carried over into this refreshed forecast, and I want to address what that is now. As you move throughout the course of the year, your annual goals actually do need to change. So you will often hear people say your goals are meant to be living and breathing, and they are. So we don't want to take this target of 150 for sales and take it through the entire year if conditions are changing. Maybe it's changing lower, and maybe you need to adjust your target down. Maybe it's changing higher. Lots of money's coming in and you need to adjust it up. You're going to decide as you go. And as you do, you'll want to make sure you're tracking your progress against that number, which gets to this last box, which is your progress. As you move through the year, you're going to add in your year-to-date totals. So however much sales you've had so far this year, plug it here. So let's just say I'd made $10,000. Now, I need to subtract zero off that one. Okay. So if I had made 10,000 so far this year versus my goal of 150, I would have a gap to my goal of 140,000. Now, of note, this formula here is built on the target that you have here. So in the event that you have updated your forecast, you're just going to need to change this number here so that the formula is reflective of the right cell. So just delete those two and then pick the cell that you need. I'm going to go back and just show you how I did that again. Put it here. Okay. Now, the next question, when we've laid in some financials, we now need to be asking ourselves, well, how the heck are we going to hit these goals to begin with? What do you need to do in order to reach your financial goals? And this is where the true business goals come into play. Now, we are still setting annual goals. On this page, these are intended to be high level. They're intended to set direction for what you and your team will be doing with your energy, with your time, with your resources, with your money. What do you need to work on in order to hit these targets? So we start with revenue generation, and we ask ourselves in each of these areas, what do we need to do? For products or services, what we're referring to is what you're selling. Are you launching something new? Do you have a new offer? Are you changing an offer to better position yourself in your market? Take notes about that in this cell. Marketing. What are you doing to attract people to you? How are you going to build brand awareness and consideration and bring people into the fold? Sales. How do you take people all the way through and get them to sign the contract or pay you money? Are there some specific sales initiatives that you would implement in order to reach these goals? And then lastly, customer service. This very much touches all of these things, but we often don't think about it as being a separate line item, but I encourage you to, because this is the experience people are having with you, especially over time. And oftentimes with customer service, we can get repeat clients if we're really good about teeing up a really amazing experience. Okay, the next bucket of goals for our business we want to examine is operations. So again, we're asking ourselves the question, what do you need to do in order to reach your financial goals above? In the operations world, what we're really talking about is stuff happening behind the scenes primarily. It's the things that you and your team interact with a lot. Systems, processes, technology, communications. What are the things that need to happen here to support you reaching that goal? Then human capital. Here it's all about the people, right? And it's people beyond you, right? Who are the people that are helping you reach your goals? Do you need to train and develop them so that they increase their knowledge and their ability to serve your customers and clients? And what about the culture? This is really just saying their connection to you. And then last piece, but certainly the most important, is your leadership. What is your role in the business? Does it need to change? And then how do you need to support your own development this year so that you are better able to deliver this target? Those are our annual goals. It's high level. These are going to be mostly sentences you'll type in here with some notes. You certainly can put numbers on them. You could just type into it whatever you want. And it's going to create space as you keep typing in those cells, so you'll get more room as you go. Okay, let's talk about quarterly goals now. Quarterly is going to come after your annual, right? So we start with quarterly and then we pull it down and say, okay, what happens in Q1, for example? So here, again, starting as we always will, financial goals. So the first place we're going to start is our annual. What are our goals? And you'll note here, annual goal, we're going to plug it in and we're going to do year to date. Now, year to date in Q1 is nothing, right? We haven't sold anything yet. But as you start to move through the calendar year, you will obviously add that in. Then we want to look at Q1 and say, okay, what am I selling in Q1? Let me say this here. If you did not use the financial projection template that we have, I highly encourage you to get it and use it, because what you will learn is how to build really good forecasts for your business that are not just taking your annual target, say 150, and dividing it by 12, because that's typically not how most businesses work. Often there's seasonality, there's fluctuations in revenue and in expenses, and you really want to be able to plan for that because it helps you mentally navigate your business. So we want to know what our Q1 targets are. What's the goal? And as you move through the year, you'll track your actuals. And then you're going to repeat the same process for January, February, March. For each month in that quarter, what's the goal? Plug it in. And then as you complete that month, track the actual. Easy. Okay. Then we have to ask ourselves, what are the business goals for this quarter? So what do you need to do this quarter in order to reach your financial goals? Now, these should be things that stem from your annual plan. They should be things that are connected here. And I will say, because everybody needs to be reminded of this, the only things that will put money in your pocket are the things that are here, and specifically sales and marketing, because they are the things that are the tactics are directly related to the money coming into your business. So if you need to sell more and you're noticing a gap, I really want you to be teeing up in this mission critical section some goals around generating revenue, sales, marketing, etc. Now you'll notice the framework here for goals. You can have up to 10 goals in a quarter, but they are chunked out. And this is how I want you to start thinking about your business. In the quarter, what's going to be mission critical? Sales and marketing are typically at the top. So I want you to write down, what's the goal? What are you pursuing? Why are you pursuing it? Often we need to understand the motivation in order to say, I'm going to go do this thing. For example, maybe you're like, I need to start reaching out proactively to 10 potential clients per week. I need a proactive sales outreach. And the question might be, well, why? Because if I don't do it, I'm not going to hit my goals. I've been running this, hoping for people to just come to me for the last several years, and I'm not getting the business I want. I need to take a more proactive stance. How? I will reach out to 10 people per week, right? Very straightforward. When? Weekly in that case, right? Or maybe it's like something's happening in a specific month. And then you can, throughout the course of the quarter, track it. Is it complete? Is it in progress? Is it incomplete? Whatever the case may be, okay? So you're going to get 3 goals that are mission critical. After that, you get 3 goals that are important. And after that, you get 4 goals that are nice to have, which means when you are thinking about allocating your time, your energy, your money, your resources, you're putting it here first in the top 3. Then we go to these, and then we go to these, and in no other order. Because if you do these and you knock it out of the park, you should be on track to hit your goals for the quarter. Tracking with me? Okay. Let's go look at the monthly goals. So after we've built the Q1 in this case, or quarterly goals, we then build the monthly snapshot. And this is going to get very easy because we've started to build steam from the annual into Q1 and now to that month. Great. What's the annual goal? You've already got that. You're going to go copy it out of your annual plan. Take it here. Paste it here. Year to date, where are you? Well, in January, it's going to be 0. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. Reiterate your quarterly goals. You've already got these over here. You can just literally copy them right from here and put them here. And you might be thinking, why? Why do I need to repeat that? It's because if you want to get really, really good at money, you've got to keep looking at the money. You've got to get good at your finances. And the more it's in front of your face, I promise you, it becomes easier to attract in that business and to keep your eye on the ball. Okay. So then the question is, in this month, in this case, January, what do you need to do to reach your financial goals above? What are you going to need to do to hit this goal? Okay, let's ask ourselves. Now here, the framework's a little different. Mission critical, you get 1. If one thing and only one thing happens all month long, what is the one that is directly related to your ability to kick that goal's ass? I want that to be goal one. Then you get two that are important. What are they? And then the last 10 are just your nice to haves. So in many cases, these Q1 goals are going to be the ones that end up coming over almost directly into your plans by month, especially like Q1 to January or Q2 to April. But you have to reprioritize them. So I really want you to be thinking, what's the difference? When we have three that are mission critical in Q1, but we get to January and we only get one, well, pick. Which one is it? This is going to help you prioritize. And the filter again to run it through is, what do you need to do this month in order to reach your financial goal for January, right? And you're going to use the same framework. What's the goal? Why are you doing it? How are you doing it? And the how needs to be very clear by the time we've gotten to the monthly plan. When are you doing it? In this case, way more nuanced, like every Tuesday or working on the first week of this month. Progress, track it as you go, right? So anything that winds up incomplete at the end of the month gets carried over. If it's still in progress, it can often get carried over to the following month, and you'll build these as you go. And you're just going to repeat the process. So let's come back to the timeline. So let's just take Q2 now as the example. When we get to Q2, we want to refresh our annual goals, and that's what you see here, refresh it. It's saying, okay, knowing what I know now, where I've tracked so far this year, what needs to happen on the annual goals? Am I on track? Am I off track? Are we exceeding our forecast? Are we falling behind? What needs to change? And you may look even at the tactics here and say, there's some new things we need to add, and that's okay. Go refresh it. Then on the quarterly, we're going to set a new quarter's goals. And remember, that's after we've refreshed annual. And this is pretty quick. We can pop in here and just very quickly say, like, what needs to happen? Where are we? Add a few new things. What's Q2 look like? There's going to be some things that carry over because they should. And there's going to be others that don't. Some things worked in the prior month or quarter, and you keep them. Some things didn't. Change them. And it's that easy. So we just keep repeating the process, working our way through the year. This is what I would say. Put time in your calendar. This is not the type of thing that you will do shoving it in between all these other tasks. Make the investment in your growth. Put this in your calendar. Make the commitment to do it. There is no other person that's going to force you to do this. Only you. That is discipline. That is being the CEO. Put it in your calendar. Do not schedule over it. Stay true to it. Do the damn work. That's all I can say. All big, successful businesses have goals, and there's a reason. It's because you need them. They are the things that allow you to harness the power of all of your effort and your energy, your money, your resources, and your time, and put them towards the result that you want. What do you want? What do you want out of your business? Whatever this is, and whatever these things are, they should support you getting there. And if they're not, you shouldn't be doing them. Remove them. All right. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.